new beat to your drum. Achieve success with Global.Media.com. And celebrate it with or without
Hello,
champagne or rum.
hello, hello. Yeah,
Hello, we're
yeah, Mr.
here
Amy,
again.
go ahead.
That's right, we're here again. It's Friday. Time for some positivity in our lives. If we don't apply positivity all day, every day, anyway, which we should, right?
Yeah,
How you doing, Mr. D?
yeah, I'm
How's life with you?
doing good, Mr. Amy. I'm doing good. It's been an amazing week. And for me, I'm very excited to be here on another edition of our Positivity Life event. And how's been your week?
It's always a good week. Always a good. I say,
Of course.
I'm getting things done. I'm nearer to going home from from where I am. So I'm all good. And Dr. Roxana is here as well. How you doing? How you doing, Prof? Great to see you as always. Positivity indeed. I don't know.
Ooh, I think,
The amazing Lydia is here as well. Yes, Lydia, we do see you. How are you doing, Lydia? It's been
Friday.
so long.
Hi, Lydia. How are you?
Hello, my friends. I am well. How are you?
We're
Yeah,
doing good. It's so
better
good
for
to have you
seeing
back.
you. Yeah, it's better for seeing you. Yeah. How's life? Are you winning?
I'm. Of course, I am.
That's all right then. That's what we like to hear. You know, so good to see you. I haven't seen you this year. I don't think. So I'll say Happy New Year in April.
That's right. Yes.
It still applies, but it's better than some, right? At
Yeah,
least we're doing it now. Let me
yeah.
refresh my LinkedIn, make sure we're still on.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Enia. Thank you so much, Lydia. All right, guys. If you are just joining us, welcome again to another Positivity Life event that happens every Friday with a sole aim to bring positivity to everyone around the world. If this is your first time, we want to say a big welcome. We appreciate you. We love you. We see you. And one way for us to shout you out is when you drop a comment in the chat box. Tell us who you are, where you are joining us from, so that we can shout you out and we can let the world know that you are here with us. So we welcome you. We appreciate you. We have people from all over the world joining us on this space. And for us, it's always amazing to know that our friends are joining us globally from all over the world. For those who are just joining, like, what are they doing here? Positivity life. Yes, what we do here is all about positivity. We talk positivity, we live positivity, we breathe positivity, and everything positivity you can think of. Because we have not just heard about it, we've seen it, we've experienced it, and our lives and businesses has become better with the power of positivity. And we are bringing this message to more people out there in the world to let them know that positivity is no longer a thing, is no longer a word, it's now a life that you can live practically every day of your life. Yes, we have so much negativities in the world. We have so much famine, so much challenges, so much difficulties, people going through relationship issues, business issues, as the case may be. Yes, we know that these are happening, but we have a choice to make in the midst of all these things. And the choice that we are making is choosing positivity every day and intentionally to go through all these variables that we are going through. So that's what we are all about. It's all about positivity. And I know you're not seeing my face right now, because of some technical issues behind the scene, but I'm sure you can hear my voice loud and clear. And my name is Zion Inogeru, your Mr. Positive Energy, a man on a mission to spread positivity to every corners of the earth, 1 million people at a time, using the power of media. I'm a positivity coach and mentor. I help people embrace the power of positivity intentionally every day of their life. And I also host online events just like this. For me, I love shining the light on people. You have a message, you have value you are giving, you have a business, you want visibility, you want people to see you on the online screen. We help you do that to put you in the front of your target audience where you can tend to share your message, talk to your potential customer, your potential client, and build relationship. Because for me personally, I believe in the power of relationship. It's about you, it's about me, it's about every one of us. Because together we can do so much more with the power of positivity. So that's about me, about what I do and how I help people. I'm going to pass the mic to my amazing co-host, even as they introduce themselves, tell us who they are and what they do and how they help people. I'll go to Mr. Ennis first. I think he's a little bit busy now. Mr. Ennis, then we'll go to Lydia. Lydia, just to be sure, eh, are you able to take us through the meditation this time? Are you here?
Yes, I am.
Amazing, 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 guys. That's the session we've made so far on the event, our meditation section. But I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag yet. You're going to see it, you're going to feel it, you're going to experience it. But in the meantime, I'm going to pass the mic to Mr. Eni as he introduces himself. So, Mr. Eni, the mic is yours.
Yes, I was happy for Lydia to introduce herself first. I was going to say ladies first, but Lydia, go on. I'll let you tell our friends what you do because so just because you're you, right? Might as well let you.
All right, Annie, you got out of that one easily, but we'll get you in a moment on the turnaround. So, hello everyone. I am Lydia Laurie Bustler, and I am the Jedi calm person. I come in and help you experience calm and peace so that you can sleep and fulfill your purpose and be calm in your negotiations and your work. And you know what? I believe that those relationships and those negotiations are what we're here to do. We're here to connect meaningfully. And so I love this subject today and I'm really excited for it. Annie, on to you.
Excellent. Look, I'm still having fun doing what I do, right? I see Dr. Leslie is here. So amazing Linda is here as well. And so thank you so much for joining us, our friends. It was good to see all of you. It is Friday. What do I do? No, I'm still having fun, Lydia. I'm having fun doing what I do best. So that I've got a couple of books that are coming out soon. It seems like the first one's going to be the children's book, yeah, for William Plange. So we're just designing that, doing layout now as we speak. So I publish books, write books, some market books, sell books, and also guarantee to make my author friends number one bestsellers on Amazon. I say that Lydia, the one thing that's happened since we haven't spoken is that we now, I am on a mission to sell more books for my author friends. A lot of people write great books, but the books just sit to sit on the shelf. I'm frustrated by that reality, so I think we can change that. So one of the things we're doing is doing in real life on stage events, author speakers conference we call it. So authors get to I bring 6 authors, they get to speak, and they have speaking slots. They inspire the audience, they entertain us, and people get to know who they are. And I pay them for the pleasure as well, by the way. So that's a big thing. Of course, our authors sell books to people in the audience. That's the idea. But becoming a paid speaker is a big thing for authors. Telling your story, to a real audience in real life. Apart from that, so we're doing many more master classes. We're doing the master class a month so far. So we're doing workshops and master classes because we want to transform lives. We want to move people from thinking and listening to actually doing. Yes, no, we do charge them, by the way. Because only for serious folk is what I say. If for those who are seriously, serious, who actually want to make the transformation. Yeah, exciting times all around. Yeah, it's all good. Mrs. Z, I'll come back to you. No, but I'll come back to you, Lydia, for the meditation, right? I say, yeah, I'm out of sync now. They say, I don't know the order anymore. But we'll come to you, Lydia.
It's up to you. All right. If you would like to just go into this, I'll do a little 2-minute guided calm to get us in the space where we want to be. So I invite you to tune in, get yourself ready with all your distractions off. This is just 2 minutes. And take a slow breath in, noticing the air as it enters your nostrils. And notice as you exhale the quality of that breath. A little bit warmer and so energized by you. That breath is there for us every single day, every moment of our lives. We don't have to work for it. We don't have to worry. It's there. As you take your next slow, deep breath, notice your consciousness. Where is your consciousness? If it's not already there, place it behind your eyes. That's right behind your eyes. And allow it to float up and back. We can thank our consciousness. It does so much work to keep us safe. And right now, it can take a little break and just sit up as if on a branch above a river, watching the thoughts float by. And as you take your next slow, deep breath, notice your grounding cord right from the bottom of your spine, attaching you to the earth. It's always there, giving you unconditional support. And as the thoughts float by, with more and more space between them, you can breathe in that peace and that support and be right there with it. As inside of you, you have an impenetrable well of calm. As you take your next slow, deep breath, you can come back and be present and be witnessed here in the positivity room. Namaste.
So thank you so much, Lydia. I always love the meditation. Yeah. Time to calm, to have peace, and think beautiful thoughts or let beautiful thoughts, and visions float through my mind. Yeah, thank you so much. We've missed you. We really have. Well, so cool. Right. Mrs. Z, are you still there? You're muted.
Yes, I'm here.
I
I've
see
missed the
you're
meditation so
sharing
much
things.
that I got lost in the meditation because I've missed it so much.
Yeah, it's true.
Thank you so much, Lydia. We sincerely appreciate you for
Mm.
taking us through that. It's been a while. Sometimes you don't know how much you've missed something until you no longer have it every day. So it's just so amazing. And we appreciate you so much for just taking us through that meditation section and just allowing us come. My day has been busy, my day has been eventful, but then just to be in that space while taking the deep breath in and out and just hear the chimes in my ear, like, oh, this is something, this is amazing. So thank you so much, Lydia. We appreciate you. Yes, guys, if you are joining us for the first time, that's how we do it. Before the conversation starts proper, we go through our meditation section just to help us relax, calm, and so we can share more. In today's conversation, it's about the mistakes that became a catalyst for success. Whether you like it or not, in one way or the other, for as many of us who are on the journey of growth, who are on the journey to become better, to make more impact, we've made mistakes as a kid. We've made mistakes in one shape or form, but I tell you, those experiences we had on the journey has made us who we are today. And today, it's more like a testament. It's more like a testament for ourselves and to inspire other people, to let them know that we have been through this, we have been through that, and those things that we've been through is what has made us who we are today. For every glory, there is a story to tell. And it is a story we tell that gives the glory the meaning. Without the story, the glory is just there for the sake of the glory. People cannot really resonate with the glory if there is no story to tell. So, one way people can resonate with the glory, one way people can actually understand the glory that you are showcasing is the ability for you to tell the stories. And the beautiful thing is this: the stories are not always perfect, the stories are not always all rosy, the stories are not always all smooth, as the case may be. But I tell you, the unsmoothness, the hurdles, the challenges are what makes it interesting, are what makes our story powerful and beautiful. And as our faces are different, so our stories are different as well. We all have different stories to tell. We are all from different background. We are all pursuing different goals. We all have different vision, different mission. But at the end of the day, the ability for us to bring all these unique stories together is where the real impact is being made. And that's why we are specially inviting you, anyone under the sound of our voices. I know you have a story to tell. I know, even though I'm not seeing you right now, but as long as you're hearing my voice, I know you have a story. Your story is unique. Your story is special. Your story has the power to change somebody's life. Who knows? Somebody's just waiting for you to share that challenge you went through, that mistakes you made, that although you had to survive to be where you are today, just for them to find hope, to find faith, to find courage to keep living. The link to join us on screen, to join us on stage, sorry, is on the screen right now. Click on it, input it in your browser. It's going to bring you on the backstage where we can bring you up so you can be able to share your story of the mistakes that happened, of the challenges you had to go through that brought you where you are today. And feel free, don't be shy. For some persons, they were like, oh, I'm not in a place where I can put on my camera. It's okay. You can, as you can see now, my camera is not on because why some technical glitches behind the scene, but you can hear my voice. You can hear my voice. I can hear your voice. You can share your message. That's what truly matters. So don't, if you're camera shy, it's okay. You are welcome. And we believe that you are unique, you are special, and what you have to share today has the power to change somebody's life. So we are inviting you to join the conversation even as we continue. So I'm going to shout some few people since I also have dropped in the comments. And we have Alexis in the building. Alexis is saying, hello everyone. It's been an interesting morning moving forward, keeping it positive. Yeah, thank you so much, Alexis, for being here with us. We appreciate you so much. We have Dan in the building. Chris Dan. Chris Dan says, good evening, everyone. Chris Dan, good evening. Welcome to our Positivity Live event. We appreciate you. Earlier on, we saw Linda in the building. Linda joined us all the way from Canada. Yes, we have Professor Rosanna in the building. Professor Rosanna is joining us all the way from South Carolina in the United States of America. Leslie as well. Leslie joined us from North Carolina as well, from the United States. We appreciate you so much. You're welcome. Leslie says, our mistakes reveal the lessons that became kinetic imagination. the building blocks of our dreams. Powerful share, powerful share. Leslie is someone that has great insight when it comes to topics like this. And I believe at one point she's going to join us on stage where she can share and inspire the audience with us. For me, this is very powerful. This is a conversation that people do not talk about. When people are celebrating, people can talk about, oh, the milestone, how I made XYZ millions, how my business grew, this, how this happened. But at the end of the day, only a few can truly tell us the story that brought us where they are today. So that's why for us, we are very
Mm.
intentional, not just about the glory, but also about the stories. And in the midst of the stories, you're going to hear about the mistakes, you're going to hear about the challenges, you're going to hear about the others that we had to go through to be where we are today. The mistakes that we made that became a catalyst for success. You know, uh, let me not shut. Let me allow Lydia because it's been long we heard her voice. I wanted to go first, but I feel it's been so long we heard Lydia speak, and for me, I'm longing to hear her insight and her thoughts on this conversation. So Lydia, I'm going to yield the mic to you and allow you kick us off on a great note because I'm looking forward to hear what you have to share.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Zion. And yeah, this is what we're here for. Everything that we need is right inside of us, right? I said that before. And if that's true, then also we must be meant to be here. And you know what? I think that that's true. And if you're not meant to be here, it's nothing to worry about because you're here. So when we're here, everything that happens is for us. Everything that happens to me is for me. And if you've been on this show for years, you may have heard, a story or two from me. And they're not fun, they're not easy, but every challenge is what grows us and what brings us to our brilliance. What is uniquely hard for me is not the same as what's uniquely hard for you. Some of us share similarities, but we each have a special spark and a special thing that we do, a special way that we're able to put things together or put people together or forge new paths or create new solutions. And those things mean that our challenges are different. So someone else's challenge, which you may say, oh, I could never do that. Well, that was their unique challenge. Or you might say, that's nothing. Well, no, it's not nothing. Every challenge we have is for us. And that's why it's a challenge, because it's challenging to us. And we're here and we make our decisions and our connections and live more fully and love more deeply because of those challenges. So right now, I challenge you to find something that is your challenge that you haven't looked at like that before as being something that's shaping you and being your teacher. Maybe you've been thinking, because we have to question ourselves sometimes, do I really need to complain about this anymore, or is this really as bad as I think it is, or have I been brushing this thing under the rug? What's something that maybe you have put aside that as you think about it, it's really been incredibly important to your decisions, to your efficacy, the way you show up in the world? Perhaps you've changed somebody's life because of this thing, and maybe they have been able to go on and make a great change for the world. You never know how that little challenge actually went on to create a throughway to something huge. So I invite you to come up and talk about anything that you already had all set to talk about because that's the way you work. Or if that's not the way you work and you didn't prepare anything, don't worry about it. If you suddenly have an idea that, yeah, you know, that thing, that really difficult thing, or that totally awful thing, or this thing that's happening now, I think it's making me do X, Y, or Z, or it helped so and so. Love to hear your stories, so please come on up. And I actually can't see if anybody's coming in, so this might be time to turn back to Zion.
Thank you so much, Lydia. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I had
Thank
to go on
you.
everybody. Thank you. Because it's so profound what you shared. And every one of us, we all have a unique story to tell. Indeed, we all have a unique story to tell. And sometimes we might think that the story does not matter. We might think that the story is not important. We might think, oh, it's too small of a story. Or if there's something I've learned on my journey, it's there is no story too small not to inspire people. There is no story too late not to help people go through what they are going through. And I want to say a big thank you for reminding us again of the power and the need to share our story, and also giving the open invitation to as many persons who are here with us to come up on stage and be part of the conversation. So for me, I'm just going to share quickly, some of the mistakes and the lessons learned along the journey as an entrepreneur, because at the beginning, I never saw mistake as a learning curve. I never saw mistake as something that shapes or changes my life, because I was scared of making mistakes. I was scared of being laughed at. I was scared of being pointed fingers at. I was scared of being made a scapegoat, because if I make a mistake and become a laughing stock. So I was stuck in that place where I wasn't making any moves. I wasn't taking action. I wasn't doing anything. Why? Because I don't want to become a scapegoat. I don't want people to laugh at me. I don't want people to mock me because I'm going to make mistakes. But it's so funny that being in that loop, I call it a loop, being in that space of not doing anything because I want to feel safe really puts me in a place of stagnation. Well, even though I was comfortable in my comfort zone, I was not growing. I was not evolving. I was not pursuing my visions and my goal. And I was not becoming a better person that I should have become over time. So one of the mistakes I made was not making mistakes. So it was not making mistakes. And a lot of people are in that cycle where the mistake you are making right now is not making mistakes. You want to be perfect. You want to be all right. You want to figure it all out. You want everything to go smoothly. But at the end of the day, on this journey of growth, because I call it a journey of growth because it's never a destination. As much as you are living is an opportunity for you to grow. You have to make yourself uncomfortable. You have to make yourself leave that space where you feel, oh, all is good in here, to do something. Make the mistakes. Don't be scared to fall. When you fall, stand up again, dust off yourself, and keep going. Because why? For every fall along the way, there is a lesson to learn. Sometimes you fall differently. The pains hit you differently. Sometimes when you fall, it can be your knee, it can be your toe, it can be you trying to hold yourself and your wrist. You injure you. So it can just happen. So for every challenges we go through, for every mistakes we learn, there are opportunities for us to make. So for me, one of the mistakes I made was not making mistakes, waiting to be perfect. I want to figure out all the steps along the way before I start a project. I want to figure out everything I need to do before okay, let me do this. Be imperfect. For everyone you are seeing today who becomes successful in their dreams or in their aspiration, they all started somewhere. And that place, there was no perfection. It was all a learning curve. So I encourage you, dare to do, Dare to leave your comfort zone. Dare to tell yourself, you know what? I'm tired of staying in this place. I need to put myself out there. So one of the mistakes that you can be making right now is not making mistakes. So I encourage you, anyone under the sound of our voice, push yourself to make mistakes. Secondly, one of the mistakes I made was thinking not building relationship was the best. Because why? I was an introvert. I love my space. Please don't talk to me. I can talk to myself. I can make myself laugh. I can make myself giggle. I can have fun with myself. So I was more like that. And because I was more like that, I thought I don't need people. I was all in my bubbles. I was all in my head. I can stay all week, all days. I don't need anybody. As long as I have everything I need. So I was more like that. And that was one mistake I made on my journey as an entrepreneur. Thinking I don't need people. Thinking I can do it all by myself. But in my journey, I had to learn that no man is an island of his own. No man. No matter how good you are, no matter how successful you are, no matter how well equipped you are, no matter how eloquent you are, no man is an island. We are human beings and we are created to be social beings. And I will always say this, and I'm going to say it again today. It doesn't matter what you do, it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter your goals or aspirations. You are going to meet people along the way. You're going to need people. Maybe you are an introvert and you want to get gasoline. You're going to meet somebody along the way. You want to go to the grocery stores to get groceries. You're going to pay to somebody. Somebody's going to talk to you. Somebody might be able to open the door. So you're going to need somebody along the way. So one of the mistakes I made was thinking I don't need people. But it taught me a great lesson. It taught me a great lesson because there were things I wanted to do that I was not able to do, but there were people who could have done it for me if I was able to build relationship. There were people who, by the snap of the finger, they can make things happen if I was able to build relationship. I didn't have access to opportunities, access to things I've wished for. But in building relationship, it opens opportunities for me I never thought could have opened. So I encourage anyone out there, you know, you might be in that space where you think you don't need people. That was the mistakes I made too, thinking I don't need people. We need people. I need you. You need me. We all need each other to survive in this world. We all need one another. So learning to build relationship as an entrepreneur changed my life. It was from relationship I got to know Mr. Annie. It was from relationship I got to know Lydia. It was from relationship I got to know and Leslie, Linda, Dr. Rosanna, and all the people we see in the comment section. Relationship brought us together. And in one way or the other, these people have mentioned their names. We've collaborated. We've worked together. We've partnered together. We've made things happen together because um, of relationship building, collaborating with one another, and making things happen. So making the mistakes of thinking I don't need people was one mistake I made that became a catalyst for me. Whoa, I like, whoa. So it feels so good like this when people are around you. I'm like, there are days I don't feel like it. There are days I don't feel myself. But because I have people around me, I'm always energized, which I never had when I was all by myself. But because I build relationship now, I'm no longer alone. People are there to help me. People are there to support me. People are there to help me achieve my dreams and my goal. And that's why building relationship for me, it's a non-negotiable asset. Because why? People are very, very important. There's a whole lot to share, but we already have some amazing people, some amazing guests who are joining us on stage, and we are going to give them the privilege to be able to grace us with their deep wisdom, with their deep insight. We already have Uncle Mike in the building, and we have our brother Jay joining us today. Brother Jay, it's been a while. How are you doing? And how is
Hi, Zion. Thank you so much for having me here. It has been a while. Um, you know, as a storyteller, you would think that what does storytelling have to do with positivity? And for me, it it comes down to this: stories that you tell others, right? That's really important. The ability to share your story with the rest of the world, so that as a whole, you're talking about people that would come to help you, come to nurture you, come to support you. That's important. But the other thing that's important is the story you tell yourself. That to me is just as important. And when it comes to the ability to um, talk about how we're doing with others, right? You mentioned there being support for you. And that's true. You do need the support of others, and the only way that they're going to help you is if you share your story with them. So storytelling is integral in allowing for that positivity to be a part of your life and be a part of the community that helps support you. And words are important in those stories, right? Community, common unity. And if you're all positive, right? And you've said it many times on this show, and many of the people that have joined you have as well. We're not talking about ignoring the struggle. We're not saying don't ever think about the struggle or the trauma or any of the things that are impacting you negatively, but to have a positive disposition, a way of looking at things that will help you through the trauma, through the stress, through the struggle, all of the things that we all experience as human beings. We just may experience them on different levels. And I've said it before as well when I talked about surviving a tornado. That wasn't symbolism. I literally survived a tornado. And it was a really difficult situation, both during and after. But I chose to look at the situation not as a victim, but as a victor. I looked at it from the position of a person who survived. And so looking to my community to help me through that and having that same mentality rather than them and all of us kind of looking at it from a perspective of, you know, this is something that's insurmountable. We all together looked at ways to improve my situation and the situation of those in my community. And this to me is important. Looking to others, sharing with others your story, also sharing the story of positivity in your own life to yourself, looking in the mirror, I think is also just as important. So these two things together allow us to move forward as an individual, but with everyone as well. And I just wanted to kind of this, and because when you talk about mistakes, right, things that people have done in the past that weren't very helpful, right, I choose to look at, in my case, my ancestors and what they did to survive storms in their past. right? I looked at literally the storms, the typhoons in my area, and my island has actually hit by a typhoon just a few days ago. And that's why I'm kind of wanting to talk about it. There, the story that was shared with me about the mistakes, about the things that were done in the past that did was not helpful to my ancestors and to my elders, allowed me in my moment of need to think about ways to help myself out of that situation. So even if they were mistakes, they were lessons. And I think if you look at it from that point of view, that then leads to the positivity that you need in those very times. And I know Mike's there, so I won't talk anymore. But I think that's basically the genesis of why I wanted to share this story. I hope that helps.
My friend, definitely helps. You know, it's the stories we tell ourselves. You know, say, that's the reality. That's what changes. I guess how we take it and how these things affect us. You know, and of course, I'll come back to you because I know you have a new creation to help us tell our stories. And so I'd love to know more about it. I know you gave me the link earlier, but I'll come back to you to definitely share what your mastery platform does. So thank you so much, Jay. So, mistakes are a thing. It's how we see them. Mr. Mike, how are you doing? I see your song in the chat. You're in the studio, so you feel free. If you want to play it, don't let me stop you, my friend.
No, that's part of a movement that I've joined. That's called Kindness Counts, and it's an attempt to basically globalize this idea that we should be committing daily acts of kindness.
Oh, yeah.
So at your leisure, have a listen. I also have it up on SoundCloud. But uh, did you ever have a situation where a community member steals your thunder completely? Jay just did that. I had the storytelling thing. I had the mistake thing. But in all seriousness, he kind of did. But in all seriousness, what I was thinking was, I don't believe in mistakes. What I
Mm,
mean by that is it's a mistake, but it can also be a retake. And so
mm,
when I'm thinking of mistakes, either by myself or by others, Um, I want to look for the lesson. And this is where you guys have heard me endlessly say, life happens for you, not to you. Well, in order for that to be true, you have to understand what the for is.
yeah.
And so for me, that for is, lessons learned, even in negative situations. And so one of the things I am trying to learn from, it's going to sound negative, but it's very positive. Don't shrink. Meaning, and there's two parts to this. So the shrinkage means that you should really be putting forth energy, um, maybe even in a tough love situation, but that you need to really be saying something to people. So the two sides of that are you in your self-image and your personhood are here for a purpose. And part of that purpose is to, be whoever you are, but say what you should be saying. So that's the you side of it. The they side of it is they actually need your input. Maybe it's encouragement. Maybe it's a correction so that they, maybe don't follow that path that you made that mistake on.
Mm,
And so, that's one of the things in 26. I'm really looking for places, including the song that I wrote for this movement is how can we act on positivity? How can we act on kindness? And you know, I have a working thesis. We're a heck of a lot more connected than we know, and that energy flows around, meaning it can come back. You can call it karma. You can call it whatever you want. And I term it love, but love needs an object, and so that's where I think giving is important. But one of the things that Jay had mentioned is we do have to be careful about that story that we tell ourselves. That we need to, yes, we need to absolutely surround ourselves with positive people like Zion and Lydia and our dear Annie and of course Jay. But we underneath there, we have to have a real deep sense of who we are, what our purpose is, and how to navigate in the world. Um, and I think in part that is this: what lesson do I have to learn from this seeming mistake? Because I think sometimes we're right where we should be,
Yeah.
making an error or making whatever it is, and that we will figure out that that was an error and make course correction. That's what I got.
That is brilliant. So that's deep, deep, deep indeed. So I was going to say, of course, I love you and your, I guess your advice, your strategy of don't shrink. Don't shrink. And I think mistakes. I think that if we go back to Jay's takes, mistakes. Well, that was yours, right, Mike? Mistakes. At least it means we're taking action. Even if we're a bit wide of the results we want, expect, hoped for. At least we're taking the action for the mistake to happen. I think we're a lot worse off if we don't take the action. Again, for everything that we mentioned so far, is it
And
fear?
just yeah, so you took the words right out of my mouth. I think fear keeps us either shrinking or keeps us from moving forward. And there's a saying that it's easier to steer a moving ship. If you are so stuck in your fear, you're not going to do what you need to be doing. And
Yeah.
again, I think that includes, like Zion was talking about, that includes reaching out, right? Because we absolutely are connected and we absolutely need other people's help. And
Mm.
we can even fear to do that because why? And I'm speaking to Mike now, probably as much as anyone else, because I'm scared of what I'm going to look like, or that I'm going to look like, I'm foolish, or, it's something related to fear. And we just have to move past that, and then also I think it's important to surround ourselves with like-minded positive people, because otherwise we can kind of shrink back into that place of fear and not wanting to step out. So sorry for the interruption.
No, 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 no problem at all. Say when you have any gems for us to learn from, I will happily give anyone the mic. Right? I really would. Yeah. Look. Let's do some of the comments that our friends are sharing. Lydia, it's always a good thing when someone is on stage and commenting as well, right? Yeah. I say I know about Lydia's music. I don't know what you do, Mike. She's a legend. She really is. I spent hours listening to Lydia's music. As a show, she's a composer. You know, yes, you two should definitely connect. And have a conversation, explore the possibilities for sure. Lydia has a massive catalogue of songs that she's written and composed, and others she's performed. Others are performed as well. So yeah, there's something. And Mike, of course, I know you have a huge catalogue of songs as well, Mike. And this is the magic of no, the magic of connecting on this platform, especially. So Alexis says the stories may seem similar, but each individual presents a different point of view, which is true. Again, what I call a mistake, what you call a mistake, are two different things at best of times, right? And I like your idea, Mark. There's no real mistakes. There's things that could have gone better. There's things that maybe we could have done differently. And sometimes there's just things that are not right for us at moments in time, right? Really, you know, and it's all right saying it's a mistake, but it's not a mistake. Sometimes it's divine given the results the results that we obtain. I think the word mistakes, it suggests that we've done something wrong. Whereas in reality, most of the time it's not something we've done wrong. And Lydia, I agree with you. It is an issue of self-love, really. It's and maybe I've learned to be ignorant, self-confident, and just me. So if something does not work out the way I wanted to work out, yes, of course I'll ask the question: what could I have done better, differently? But I trust myself enough to know that I gave it my best shot. That's all I can do, right? And I will say this, my friends. I think the sign that we're making progress is when we start doing different things. When we do bigger things, that's when we can make mistakes and new things that impact more people, things that can help people more. And I say, in those moments, I really don't think that we're making a mistake. Number one, number two, I think many people they think they are. I don't know, superhuman. That's the only way I used to describe it, right? My point is this: I've learned in this life that we live, we have to be prepared to be the dumbest person in the room. It's not a bad thing. If you try something new, it will be crazy if you knew everything. And no one knows everything. Number one, the people who've been doing that thing for years, right? The people who know more than you. Let's take IT as an example. When I meet a specialist, it was storytelling, Jay. Making music, Mike and Lydia. I was saying when I meet people like you, I'm not going to think I'm going to be more expert than you and do better than you can do on day one. I give myself the chance to say, okay, let me learn from those who have gone before me. Let me learn from those who know more than I do. Now, and I think that you're talking about support also, Mike. I think that letting ourselves ask the questions, right? The dumb questions. As I said, there's never a dumb question, right? Asking those questions that really sound silly. How don't you know that? We don't know that. That's why I'm asking. And I think it's a good place to be. I think we should embrace those moments, for they're fleeting. And we've all been there. And those moments is when we become on the journey to become who we are today. We have to embrace those moments and truly, take the chance to learn, take the chance to develop, take the chance to grow. Not beat ourselves up because I made a mistake. No, it doesn't matter. No, it's not. You haven't made a mistake. In the right place, you're just thinking and expecting too much of yourself at the beginning. Over time, we learn. Yeah, and we'll become better. And then there'll be others behind us who are not asking the dumb questions. But then, I think Mike said it as well. I think you did as well, Jay. We have to give people the chance to grow themselves, people to learn. Let's be compassionate. Let's give people space. Let's give them grace. We were there at one time. Look, all of us are in business, right? And it's very easy for a client to start shouting when they don't get what they want. We don't need to be those people. We can be nice. We can be kinder people. accept that they've done the best. What can we learn from this together? No, you've done wrong. I'm so annoyed. I'm so annoyed. I'm like, yeah, you do you. Stay annoyed.
Speaking of that, Annie, let's we've got Dr. Dorothea and Chris in the room, and why don't we open
Go
up the
for it.
mic to Dr. Dorothea and hear what she has to say. If you're still there,
Ooh,
mute.
I am still here. Thank
Awesome.
you. Good afternoon, everyone. I love all the remarks and comments and everything. So, with this topic, I had to really think, what are mistakes in my life that have, or things that have happened that I thought were mistakes, uh, that have propelled me to something different, something greater, right? Um, I made a mistake earlier in my career in not emphasizing enough or not being able to prove the case, then I needed more support so that my team could do the job that we were being paid to do well. And as a result of that, I ended up leaving the organization. So, on the one hand, the mistake was not being able to, not having the skill set or asking for the right skill set, the right support to be able to support what I was providing in numbers, but the numbers weren't telling the story well enough. So I did not have the better developed storytelling skill set I would say that I have now then when I really needed it, right? And that propelled me to take a little bit of a different direction in my career, which turns out to be positive, right? Because it led me to where I am today and to um, the support in my career that I have today, this support of this community that I have available to me today, and also an extension of my family to have two beautiful grandchildren in my life that I would not have had my career not taken that pivot. So things that may at the time seem like a mistake or seem like a failure, they will always lead you to something different that you weren't expecting, and that's a positive thing. And being able to look at that from a positive standpoint will help you will help propel you into something new and different if it hasn't not already done so. And that's my feedback for now. Thank you.
Amazing. It's a journey, isn't it? I mean, we're all on this path, and sometimes we get, one person is over here in the weeds and another person is over getting a drink and someone else has fallen on their face, and sometimes we're the ones who've fallen on our face. But pretty soon we'll be further along on that path, and then we can respond to what's there to respond to. And it's just reminds me of what you were just saying, Dr. Dorothea, and what has been said. There are no mistakes that aren't for us to learn and have our next adventure. And you're on your next adventure, Dr. Dorothea. It's so beautiful. The adventures are big and they're small and they're personal and they're shared, and you never know what's around the next corner.
Right. And one thing that I did learn is that so as an analytical chemist, it's always about the numbers. But as a leader, which I was a leader, an early leader at the time, is that in addition to the numbers, you have to create a compelling story. And I didn't have the skill set to create a compelling enough story. And that was the last time that I asked for the support that I needed, the exact support that I needed, and didn't get it. After that, I learned how to wrap that in a compelling story that included how this could lead to more success, not just for my team, but for the organization as well.
Mm. But in order to get that story, we have to just start with the story. And every story we say is going to connect with someone, is going to align with someone. And once we actually say, really, what we want to say, and sometimes we have to wait and figure out what is it that, that I want to say, right? But once that happens, oh my goodness, they will come. They will come.
If you mention when you mention story, and I'm looking at Jay, or you sound like Jay. That's exactly what Jay is saying. It's that's our reality. That's the stories that we tell ourselves.
It's
And the
all a
stories that
story.
the stories that we tell others. I was reading recently, and the question was, what do you say when you're late? Let's say to an appointment or to be somewhere, right? So the story that we tell ourselves instantly is, "Ooh, I've done something wrong. I'm guilty, right? So I must apologize." What if we change that story to "Thank you for waiting"? Suddenly, it's gone from guilt to gratitude.
Yeah.
And that's it's a simple one, right? But we all do this every day. I'm saying that we take on things as if we've done something wrong when it's as Dr. Darcy was saying.
Or that
Sometimes
someone else has wronged us too, right? Same thing.
sometimes it's just that it's the way it's meant to be, right? It's the way that God wanted that I put it to be. That's just how it is, right? Mrs. Z, are you still there? I see you're muted.
Yes, I'm here listening carefully and paying attention to the nugget that have been shared from our brother Jay and Uncle Mike and Dorothea. And I must say that different perspective, different stories, and the shares are very, very profound. I know this is the beauty of this conversation. We have different people coming in to share their take, to share their story, and it's always unique just to be able to learn. And I'm very blessed, and I'm always humbled to be in this same space where we all can learn from our stories together. And Mr. Enning, I love it when you said choosing gratitude instead of guilt, especially when it comes to the mistake that we've made. A lot of people are in that place where they feel guilty because they made a mistake. But using gratitude will change you the perspective of how you see the mistake. And you begin to see that, oh, it's not actually a mistake, but it's a learning curve.
Yeah.
It's not actually a mistake, it's a catalyst for growth. And when you begin to see it from that angle, your own attitude, your action, your emotions, your mood begins to change. To now
Mm,
see mistakes as it's not weird to make mistakes. It's
mm,
not a bad thing to make mistakes, but rather it's part of the journey to make mistakes. And from these mistakes, we all grow and become where we are today. And I must say, sometimes some mistakes are repeated.
mm.
You repeat it again and again. But then in repeating the mistake, every
Oh, we lost Mrs. Z. Oh,
experience give you a chance to.
for sure, for sure. The,
You can
that
still hear me?
Yeah,
Dan,
no,
Dan Chris
we lost
just
you for a
came back
second,
in. Yeah.
Oh,
but you can we came back in, so we heard the end. Yeah, I missed a few words. Dan, I don't know whether you're falling off or the internet now. LinkedIn has got you.
I
So
think it's falling off.
I'll give you the mic.
Welcome.
Are you there, Dan?
Woo. I think
Ooh,
it's the
so we heard
internet for
you. So
him.
let's go ahead. Jay in his golf buggy. I like that. I'm jealous. It says walk. It says walking, I suppose, right? Let's say Jay, thanks for your amazing comment. Jay says it's okay to make mistakes. Making mistakes is the only way we learn from those mistakes. And as you were saying
Uh-huh.
just now, Mr. Z, if you keep doing the same things and you get to
Yeah.
the same results, it just means that we haven't learned the lesson, right? It means we haven't learned what we are meant to learn to to get different results.
You
Yeah.
know, there's something that I'm realizing is maybe a good time to share this about being not just making mistakes, but making them loudly. You know,
Mm.
there
Mm,
was there was a time when I was sitting around. I just moved into New York City, and I was literally in my pajamas eating popcorn, and all of a sudden I got a phone call from the New York City Ballet, and they said, "Lydia, are you in the union yet?" I said, "Yeah, I'm in the union. Can you come down right now?" And it was 8 o'clock, and there was a show, and I said, "Sure." And I threw a black dress over my head, and I ran down there. Well, I didn't run down there. I got a cab. But I got there as fast as I could. Still, I couldn't teleport, so I was a little bit
Mm.
late. And I sat down, and person pointed to where we were in the music, and I started to play. And we played along, and then there was an empty spot in the music, like a silence, but I had a note. It was just one note, but it was a loud note. And I didn't think, well, I don't know if I didn't. I was who I was. I played the note. Boom. It was loud, and everybody heard it, and everybody in the orchestra snickered. And the person next to me said, "Oh, sorry, we didn't tell you about that. There's a mistake in the part there." And after that, sure, I was mortified. But after that, I got offered a doctoral thesis at Yale. I got brought out back, and because I had played that note loud and clear, they knew that I would show up. And they knew there was a mistake in the part to be fixed. Otherwise, you're just going to forevermore have this little, somebody maybe hitting it, maybe not, having a little weaselly sound, not knowing what was going on.
Mm.
I made it. I made it loud. I was then brought into a lot of work for making a mistake.
Excellent. It's meant to be. It was meant to be, right?
It's not
Again,
graceful. It's not.
I think that at the time, many things just look like they look like a mistake, an error
mhm.
of judgment, error of
It's just
action.
what needed to happen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And we often we only see that in when we look back. That's the
I
thing we're
think our
saying. It's when we look back that we see that it was meant to be this way. It's better for us to be. Life was happening for us, not to us at that moment. Jay, you're thinking. I don't
so
like what Jay thinks. I'll come to you, Mike. Go on, Jay.
well to chime to go ahead, Jay.
Well, no, it reminded me of a time when I was in a play, and the stagehands had not put a prop where it needed to be, and so it threw me off completely. Not that I had made a mistake, but I had to react in a way that was not part of the script to go get the prop and take it where it needed to be. And then I was mortified, but here's the thing, nobody in the crowd thought that it was a mistake.
Mm,
See, we know it. We've
mm,
run through this thing how many times? We've auditioned, we've gone through the process of, doing our lines over and over again in repeat. And then when you go before the people, the crowd, the audience, you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, this is horrible. And when you go at the end of the show and you go out into the audience and you just kind of like, hey, what's your feedback? Did you notice anything? And not one of those people in the audience knew. So sometimes, even if it's a really loud mistake, there are people who won't notice it.
mm,
You, however, you know. And I think that's the thing that we can kind of glean off of this.
mm.
Other people may not see the mistake that you've made, but you know it. And so being mindful of that mistake. Now you know. Now you know. I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to make sure this prop is where it's supposed to be. I'm going to go to the prop guys. I'm going to go to the stage and say, hey, where's that prop? Did you put it where it's supposed to be? I'm going to make sure. I'm going to double check, triple check, so that it doesn't happen again. So that if somebody comes who's seen the third act 3 times and has been to the show 3 times, we're going to know.
Hmm.
You know, we're going to be able to say, yeah, we did it. We did it right.
Hmm.
So even if it was loud, sometimes people don't know. They don't hear it, but we do. And it's
Yeah,
up to us to make sure going forward whether or not that prop is going to be there when it should be and where it should be.
indeed. Look, I think that an extension of that is when we think, when we apparently know we've made a mistake, it can derail us completely. I think like it's like we can develop the mindfulness to continue and almost unfazed, right? We see this every day, but we don't notice, Jay. News readers, for example, right? Things happen around them. We might see it, we might not, right? And they just carry on. They just carry on. They just carry on as if the sun's still shining. I'm still. Sometimes the auto cue falls off, for example, like it goes off, and then you see them suddenly go, but they carry on as if nothing's gone wrong at all, right?
Mm.
This is how life really is. So, like, we can all do this, right? We can all, develop the. I guess, is it confidence or is it like? I think it's confidence in ourselves to just carry on, keep it on, just keep it on, regardless, right? Don't suddenly get phased and drop the ball because oh no, oh I don't know what am I to do now? So like we can all learn, Jay. We can all
Any froze.
Whoa, I thought it was just me. um,
While we're waiting,
Lydia, your mic
I
is
just
muted.
wanted
People are disappearing and reappearing, and it's kind of like a dance.
it's
Oh, he's gone.
yeah, and this is Restream.
Yeah.
Just real quick, I wanted to chime in on something that Zion said, and I think life is like an Escher drawing, and sometimes we come around to seemingly the same place, but I think there's a lesson maybe we haven't learned yet. And one of the things I was thinking about when Lydia was saying make the mistake loud, or is maybe it's not a mistake, meaning maybe it was supposed to happen. Maybe we were in that position. Again, this is coming from not shrinking, but also I had gone through a period of a lot of self doubt and imposter syndrome. And so I did sort of an internal analysis and audit, and I found out that those things that I had thought were in the L column actually weren't,
Mm,
and that I had performed, that function to the best of my ability, and to the best it could have been done by anyone at that time, given the folks that I had with me, and who I was interacting with. And so I think sometimes we have to give ourselves a break and say, well, yeah, I mean, it appears like a mistake maybe, but and maybe even get like a peer or a boss or something to check in with and say maybe this wasn't a mistake. Or as Lydia said, even if it is, then maybe everyone can learn about from it. So yeah, say it loud and proud. Just be ready to learn the lesson. That's what I got, Zion.
yes, thank you so much, Uncle Mike. Indeed, say it loud and proud. Before we move forward, I think Chris is back, so that before you jump off, Chris, if you can hear us, we'd love you to go ahead and just share with us your thought on our conversation today. Welcome back.
Ooh,
Mhm. It's gone again.
yes. We have to love a try, right? My internet just fell off. I don't know what happened. I know what. Okay, I know what happened. It was a mistake. It was a mistake, not a mistake, right? My connection, my Wi-Fi wasn't charging, so I unplugged it
Mm,
earlier to plug something else in. But so that, and then suddenly just went off. So look, there's a question. There's a comment by Jay that I was keen for us to look at.
okay.
I don't know. I can't see the comments, and I don't know why I can't see the comments.
Let me try. Let me see if
I
I
don't know whether
can.
you can see Jay's comments. It's something about regrets. We tend to focus on the things that we regret. Amongst other, I, I, I guess the point I took from it is that in life, humans have this tendency to focus on the negatives, right?
Is it this?
The one after that, Jay. The one after that, Mrs. E.
Okay.
So there's one more, and then another one. Yeah, this one, right. So in life, we make mistakes that we might regret, and it's hard to forget those mistakes. I guess I think as humans, to focus on the negatives.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, my internet's gone off again.
We can hear you, Annie. We can hear you.
My internet's not gone off. Who's okay? Who's gone off? Me? You?
No, we can hear you, Mr. Annie. We can hear you.
Hmm.
Oh,
He can't hear us. I think it's his sound.
Yeah, you're fine, Annie.
Yeah, there he
You're
goes.
good.
He's gone. We're having a tech attack here,
yeah.
apparently.
I just wanted to add something before Mr. Annie comes back. It's true that there are some mistakes we make that we might not be able to forget in a hurry. But then, for me, one thing I've been there before, and there's one thing that it really helped me to do is to remind me of the scars. Sometimes the mistakes can leave scars, and those scars can be there where you're going to see them again and again, and we don't forget it. Now, it's not about forgetting the mistakes, it's about learning from the mistakes. It's not about, oh, it's all gone from your thought or your imagination. It's about that intentional attempt, that intentional action, that intentional learning that comes from the mistakes. Yes, regret happens. Regret happens. People go through regret. They go through regret because they've not truly understood that what they are feeling regret about is actually a learning curve. Is actually a catalyst that is pushing them forward. It's because they are seeing it as, oh, it's a huge mistake. It has cost me my life. But that what you see as mistake, when you begin to change your perspective towards the way you see it, it changes how you move forward. It changes how you do things. A quick story of me. Right now, I know a lot of people know me, oh, Mr. Positive Energy is all about positivity, teaching people about positivity. I was never like this. I wasn't born this way. To be honest with you, I was soaked in so much negativity before. In fact, at a point, I was so depressed that I talked about taking my own life. It was as bad as that. Was there regret in those seasons? Of course, there were regrets. Were there times I felt so hard on myself? Of course, there were times I felt so hard on myself. But changing the narrative with the power of positivity made the difference. So I went through the depression. I went through the point where I feel like taking my life. And it became something I don't want people to go through. It became something I don't want people to experience. And that's why I'm teaching people on the power of positivity every day so that they don't have to go through what I went through, but they can learn from the lessons I learned from what I had to go through. So it's all part of the journey. The regrets, the the weeping, the mourning of the things you've done, the mistakes, it's a part of the journey. If you can begin to see it as well, it's a part of the journey. The mistakes I made is a part of the journey. Oh, yes, the mistake might have cost you an opportunity. The mistake might have cost you a relationship. The mistake might have cost you a job. The mistake might have cost you something that is very, very important to you. But in the midst of it all, that's how we learn, that's how we become better, that's how we evolve, and that's how we grow in India. And that's why this conversation is coming to let us know that that thing that you are regretting, you are crying about, you are mourning about, can just be the catalyst that is pushing you to the next phase of your life. For example, you are in a space right now in your life where things are not going well, things are not going the way you want it to go. Maybe you have plans, you had vision, but what is currently happening in your life right now does not reflect the plans you have, does not reflect the goals you have, does not reflect the aspiration you have for yourself or for your career. My advice for you is position yourself and ask yourself, what is this phase of life teaching me? This season of my life I'm going through right now, how is it molding me to become a better person? How is it shaping my future? How is it shaping my life? What lessons can I learn at this phase of my life? Yes, even though it doesn't feel comfortable, even though it doesn't look good, even though I'm not enjoying it, there is still something I need to learn from this phase of my life. And I tell you, when you begin to approach your life like that, when you begin to approach every phases you go through, it puts you in a place where you are never at a disadvantage. You are never at a place of regretting, but it puts you at a place of advantage. Why? Because it's a win-win. Mistakes or no mistakes, I'm learning, I'm going forward, I'm thinking ahead, and I'm using this as a fuel to push me to achieve my next goal. So I just wanted to chip that in. As I was talking, we have our friend in the building, CJ Brown. CJ, thank you. Welcome. Happy Friday. How are you doing? You are muted if you're talking. Just unmute your mic. Let me see if I can unmute you though. Can I? Oh, it says you
Hey,
muted yourself.
I
Okay.
was, yeah,
Yes.
I was not prepared to unmute myself just that second, but hi
All right.
everybody. No,
Hello.
um, I think the biggest thing about when we find ourselves making any kind of a mistake or you know, uh, something that we find as an embarrassing moment or whatever. Um, I think the biggest thing is that uh, it turns into that regrettable moment. But the thing is that we have to find in ourselves a way to forgive ourselves. It's not the forgetting because, it's we carry that with us. And yeah, we use it as a learning moment, but if you cannot forgive yourself, you're going to continue to carry that with you as a burden. And the biggest thing is that forgiveness is huge no matter what you do. If you cannot forgive, it makes that forgetting so much harder. I don't know if that makes sense or not to anybody, but that to me has been one of the biggest things is forgiveness.
Yeah, it's sort of in line with grace. It's part of what brings you to be able to learn from what it is that you've participated in, that very thing that maybe you needed to do, maybe you didn't, but then there's exactly what you need when you give grace to the situation, you give grace to that which affected you, you give grace to yourself. And that's where we grow. Is in that forgiveness, in that place of grace. That's a great lesson. Thank you.
Yes, Lydia, thank you so much. And CJ, thank you for bringing that school of thought into the conversation, the power of forgiveness. And I think a whole lot of people are stuck in the past or are stuck in the mistake because they've refused to forgive themselves. They refuse to forgive themselves. Unforgiveness is like a trap, it's like a cage, a circular cage that you keep running around and cycle again and again and again. You come back to the same point, you are running around. That's what unforgiveness is. But if you can break free from unforgiveness, if you can break free from the shackles, if you can break free from the bondage, I tell you, it gives you the room to thrive. It gives you the room to grow. It gives you the room to evolve. Unforgiveness is very key. A lot of people have not forgiven themselves. Means for some persons, it's the mistake that happened 20 years ago, or we are now 20 years after, they are still bitter, or they are still thinking about it. They are still overwhelmed about the mistakes of 20 years ago. Why?
Yep.
Because they've not forgiven themselves. So, CJ, that was very, very timely, very profound. That you brought that thought into the conversation because people need to hear. The ability for us to move forward is to address the past. And one way you can address the past is embracing the power of forgiveness. Forgive yourself, forgive other people, and I tell you, it gives you room for tremendous growth and for you to be a better person. Well, thank you so much, CJ. You
Yeah.
just you just you
Yeah,
just
of
fueled me to
course.
start sharing, and I really love that.
Yeah, and it's great that you said forgiving other people because a lot of times that's difficult as well, and it's sometimes really hard to do that too, and it's not a matter of sometimes you may not even have the opportunity to tell that person to their face, hey, I forgive you, or you may not even want to, but you know um it's the simple act of doing it for yourself, not for that person, but for yourself, because if you hang on to unforgiveness, it turns into bitterness, and
Mm,
bitterness turns into anger. And the
And
one
even
thing
illness.
that, yeah, it just leads into you turning into a bitter, angry person. And it just is something you just don't want to hang on to, unforgiveness. And to do that to yourself, when you hang on to unforgiveness to yourself, that's worse than, not forgiving somebody else.
It's hard though, as you said. It's
It
hard.
really
And
is.
one
Hmm.
one thing that can really make a difference is to actually try to change the perspective when, because sometimes you want to forgive, but you say, I can't figure it out, I'm so angry, I'm so, change the perspective, like i I describe this as like an asteroid field. You see this asteroid field, and you might see this in movies, right? And maybe a pilot is going up to it, and it's the hardest thing to get through. If you can't get, oh, and it's, they're so brave, and they're so skilled if they get through this, right? But it's hard. The average person cannot do it. Well, what if the average person is just the size of a particle of dust? Suddenly, that asteroid field is perfectly able to be done by that person. It's a changing of perspective changes how difficult the task is. How can you relate to that person in differently? It's not doesn't mean it's not a challenge, but it can change the challenge. And it sounds like you've managed to do it, however that you have done it. Whether it was an asteroid field or a router name. Thank you
It's
for
called years and years of
I
beating
think
myself up.
yep.
I think Jay
I,
has something to say. Jay, I can see your hands is also. Let me let you share.
Yeah,
Yes, go ahead.
thank you, Zion. So I'm out here literally in near the woods and stuff. I wanted to use this as I talked about a prop. I'm going to use this as a prop here. I'm going to show you something, and I don't know if you can see my camera here. I mean, so behind me there are these two trees, these two great oak trees, and when they're first growing, right, the two of them side by side, when they grow, they're competing for the same sunlight. So they grow exponentially quicker because they're both vying for the same sunlight. But what happens when they grow together, you see there's a gap here. Even though there's growth, I'm using this as a metaphor. Even though there's growth, there's still this gap, and it's the gap between the two of them, right? Now, when you're dealing with conservation, I didn't know this until recently. Sometimes you have to cut off or cut down the one tree that isn't doing so well and let the other tree survive. Why? Because there's a shadow that's basically cutting off the sunlight of this other tree, and it could be detrimental to that tree in the future. So if you just look at these two trees and the symbolism behind it, that negativity, that failure that you had that you're brewing on, you may have grown from it, but there are parts of you that didn't grow out from it. And so sometimes, not sometimes, really, you do have to cut it off, get rid of it, because that shadow is not going to serve you well, and it could cut off that sunlight, and you could actually, as a tree, fall. And whatever storm comes, it could be just a slight breeze, and you could fall. No matter how strong your trunk is, there's that potential for failure, real failure, if you don't cut off that negativity. So I just wanted to kind of show that, give that illustration. I hope it makes sense.
Thank you, Jay. And beautiful field there. Beautiful trees. And heck, I bet you get some shade underneath those trees once in a while when it's hot. Have we
Yeah,
lost?
thank you.
Looks like we
Where is
might have lost.
that?
I leave you to carry. There's nothing more strange feeling when you're suddenly the host.
Right?
Anyway, you're doing great. And my internet fell. I don't know. I had to restart my computer. I don't know what happened. Everything just went dark.
Yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't rejoin. I was thinking,
Oh,
how you doing, CJ? Good to see you.
Hi, Annie. I'm doing okay. Hanging in there.
Excellent, excellent. No, thanks for
Yeah.
joining us as well. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, definitely. I wanted to. Recovery's going okay. So that's all that matters, right?
Yeah, one step at a time. That's what we can do, right?
Exactly. Exactly. But I've always enjoyed the positivities room, so I didn't want to miss out if I didn't have to.
Awesome. So, Mrs. Z is back. Excellent. So, you can't sit there for too long. Jay, please, share with us, like, what's this new thing you've created? This mastery storytelling thing, platform.
Sure. So masterclass.ruleyourstory.com. It's a platform, and it's a platform to help people share their story. And there's different options for you to choose from. It's up to you which one you want to choose. There's the one option where it's the basic, and it's, maybe you need to figure out a story to tell at your best friend's wedding, right? Maybe there's an important eulogy that you need to do for a family member or friend. There's that. There's also the business. You have a business, you need to tell your story, your brand story. There's a tier for that. And for those of you who want to work with any, who want to publish a book, there's an author tier as well. And those are the three ones that I originally started on because, again, stories are really important. Part of what I wanted to do was honor my ancestors. My ancestors were able to pass down their legacy through storytelling, and that we didn't have a written language. And so storytelling was extremely important to us, still is to this day. And so if we could just continue that kind of legacy for ourselves, whether you're from my island or not, right? You can impact the society you live in by sharing your story. So masterclass.ruleyourstory.com is a platform where you put in information. It's based on my book, and it helps you through the 10 rules of engagement in storytelling. And at the end of it, you should have a really good story to tell. And AI really, here's what happened. I wrote the book 2 years ago so that I can push up against just the idea that AI was going to be taking over storytelling in the world. And it has. It has. But at the core of it all, there's still a human being who has to put in the prompt to get that AI going. So initially, what started out as saying, "Hey, I don't like AI. I don't believe it's going to be helpful to us." I'm looking at it as a tool now, and that tool is part of this platform. There's an AIJ that exists, and it's in this platform. It'll help you tell your story. So that's what it is, Annie, in a nutshell. Um, and there's an enterprise tier that will help people communicate within their corporation, within their business. That's really something that's for a really bigger business and not just the individual. But at the core of it all, this platform is about helping you tell your story, share it with the rest of the world so that we can all benefit from it.
And you know me, I love solutions, right? I love things that can help people. So, well done you. And also, I love the fact that you haven't, your book is alive. Your book is evolving. And that's exciting in itself. So well done, you. And I was trying to find Chris again, Mrs. Z, but I don't know. Chris. Uh,
Having some technical glitches behind the scenes, so that's why he cannot come up on stage.
yes.
And hopefully
But
by next week he'll be here to share and be part of the conversation.
he has tried and tried and tried.
Yeah,
You know,
countless times, countless
Chris,
times,
we
countless
do
times.
appreciate you.
Yeah.
Alexis says, "Oh, I got this private thing." An excellent
Well,
event with great speakers. However, must go to get to other obligations. Look, we have done our time. So
sure.
is there a point that you want to leave us with, each of you on stage, when it comes to learning from dealing with our mistakes and using that as a catalyst for success? What is your final message today to
I
us?
think Chris is back. Let's see if he can.
Okay, Chris, the mic is yours. Chris, we can hear you.
Give
Well,
Uh,
at least there's progress. Before there was no sound, now there's sound.
yeah, there is something there, right? Yeah, like I said, my friends, we kept you long enough. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your genius with us. We will learn. Chris,
Yeah.
credit to you for keep trying, my friend. True credit to you. So Mike, Uncle Mike, what is your final point you want us to learn from today on our topic?
There are no mistakes.
I agree.
Um, Back to the Escher drawing, I think, and what Zion was saying, I think sometimes we might need to return to a lesson.
Ooh, Chris spoke.
Was that Chris?
Chris spoke. Chris, are you still there?
Eh,
Hmm.
Oh,
Go on, Mike.
Um, God bless him, man. I think sometimes we need to return to a lesson until that lesson lands.
Hmm.
Or maybe that lesson isn't for us. I think this is going to sound stupid, but I think sometimes we think it's all about us.
Hmm.
And I mean, it's kind of natural because we're in our own skin. And we're looking out into the world and trying to sort it out. But I think sometimes something is going on or something happens in our lives, and it's not really about us. It may be about how we interact in that situation. Maybe we're supposed to be an example or a mentor, or a what I call um, a a process, not negativity. I had a word for this. Opponent processor, meaning sometimes that goes back into the shrinking thing. Sometimes we need, and Zion's sort of an inverse example. And what I mean by that is he could potentially be the target of negative energy, but it bounces off of him. And
Yeah.
but it's necessary. It's necessary for Zion to be that guy that can't quit smiling,
Hmm.
mm,
because that person, like me sometimes, maybe I need to pull that energy to say, man, I'm down, I need that. Or maybe I'm trying, in and of my stupidity or whatever's going on with me at the time, maybe I feel that I need to attack him. And his interaction, his response to that is what is needed.
Hmm.
So I think sometimes, and again, I'm not sort of pointing at Zion here, but I think sometimes we need to understand maybe it's not about us.
Mm.
and that it maybe wasn't a mistake. Maybe we did, and I have an example in my life where I did the right thing. Now I didn't get the desired outcome, but that
Mm.
wasn't a mistake. I did the
Yeah.
right thing. It was up to these other folks to do the right thing, and they didn't. So I'm just saying, and others have said it too. Forgive yourself
Mm.
for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and I'm talking to Mike,
Literally.
and I'm talking exactly, and I'm talking to Mike as much as anyone else because I'm probably my own worst enemy. That's all I got for you. I really, really, really appreciate these Fridays. I can't tell you how much. Um, so thank you all for being a part of this.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mike. You always share James with us. We will
Yeah,
learn from you. Thank you so much. Chris, we let's try again. You muted yourself. Please unmute yourself. Yep, go for it. Okay. It's been a hard day of internet, but it's cool. We'll fix it by next time, for sure. Dr. Dorothea, what do you want to leave us with today, my friend?
So what I want to leave you with is, mistakes, failures happen. Always look at what can I learn from this, and also, like was said before, don't always assume that it's your fault or that even the lesson is necessarily meant for you. Because it may be meant from you and may be a learning experience for someone else, or both for you and someone else. Because you never know who's watching you, who's watching how you move and how you respond.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, very close to what Mike was saying. Sometimes that thing's not for us, so it's not a mistake. It's how it's not meant to be. CJ, what do you want to leave us with today on our topic?
Well, I think that no, Mike reiterated what I had been saying earlier, and that was forgiveness. When you do find yourself regretting something that you've felt like you've made a mistake on,
Um,
and that is forgiving yourself so
yeah.
that you don't become bitter and angry over something. Um, finding that within yourself, you know, don't feel sorry for yourself.
Um,
Just keep going. Hold your head up high. You know, um, don't hang your head. Just for something that might be small in
um,
the midst of things that life is too short to worry about things that it's insignificant,
um,
um, comparatively speaking to um, life in general.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Compared to the important things in life, you know,
yeah,
I always ask the question: if this is your last day on earth, would this be the thing you actually that you worry about?
mhm.
exactly,
What,
exactly. And
what,
I
what,
think that's very significant,
mm,
Annie,
yeah.
because I think that that's where I'm at in my life is
Mm.
that I because of what I've been through and my story. um I've been through so much that to me things just seem so small, that I just can't hang on to things anymore. you know um I you know going into a surgery a couple weeks ago, I you know I, the one thing that I couldn't do was go in there worrying about a mistake that, you know,
Yeah. Yes,
you
that's
know,
that
why?
plays into insignificance in the
Yeah,
moment, right?
yeah,
I hear you. You know, it's
yeah.
good advice for all of us.
A,
You know.
a small little pebble in a small little pond when there's a large ocean,
Yeah,
and very, very, very insignificant things that just don't mean very much in the grand scheme of things.
yeah,
Life is so precious, people, and that's what we need to concentrate on. Just remember that you have loved ones around you. Take one day at a time. Remember that you want to give hugs to the ones you love. Smile, enjoy life. It's it's just so precious, and just enjoy life. Take deep breaths, enjoy the fresh air, and just love life. It's grand. Enjoy it. It's just phenomenal. I love life. It's precious. Thanks, Jenny.
thank you,
Love
thank.
you, Zion.
He's the best. And Miss Allison, welcome. Miss Allison's got a new venture. I based. Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah, IBIZT. What's this on YouTube is I Biz with Miss Allison. Well, thank you for joining us. I appreciate your time. Where am I going? I'm going to Jay. Mr. J, what is your parting gift for us today, my friend? You've shared many great things already, so please. You meet.
I think
Go.
yeah, I think that everybody had exactly what they wanted to say today, and I think that what they shared was really important for everybody to learn from, and that's really the crux, I think, of the conversation is that we learn. You know, they say this all the time, right? You know, children, they won't know the stove is hot sometimes unless they touch it.
Mm,
So, and that can be a really big mistake for, a young kid. But these are the things that we're going to experience in our lives. We're going to make mistakes and we're going to learn from it, and we're not going to touch that stove ever again. And so we're going to keep ourselves safe. That's something that we all kind of consider when we're doing life, really.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so so just keep that in mind. When we're out there and we make those mistakes, as long as we're learning from them, as long as we're growing from it, and sometimes living in that shadow can be actually harmful to
Mm,
you.
yeah, yeah.
Cut down that cut down that shadow
Mm,
and you'll thrive.
yeah, I love that. We can't live under a cloud forever, and so often we put the cloud on ourselves, right? The other people, they moved on. You know, they get on with their lives. Looking for life. If there's one I say I want to leave you with, it is that quirk where you can get 10 reviews, 9 glowing, and one that's slightly not glowing, and we take that as something to be hurt, to be upset by, to something that we're never going to forget, and then that negativity can guide our behavior and how we feel towards things. So I know it's a human tendency to focus on the negative, but we can focus on the positive. Dwell on the 9 things that have gone well, the 9 good reviews in this example, rather than focus on the one that hasn't quite worked out the way you want it to work out, for whatever reason. we all can, and we all can improve, we all can learn, but we are human. For when on this earth to sin and said God, right? Look, my friends, I can't thank you enough for spending your time with us again, as always. And I say we're back again next Friday for another great topic. But I thank you all. I thank our speakers especially. Say Mike, Dr. Dorothea, say Dan or Chris. Dan, say Chris for trying so many times. Got Jay, of course, and got CJ as well. Yeah, and yeah, man, that's. Thank you so much for gracing us with your time and your genius. But do enjoy your weekend, my friends. We'll see you again, same time next Friday. And until then, let's go and take on the world. Enjoy. Bye, everyone. Bye, everyone.
Every step forward is a new beat to your drama. She's success with Global.Media.com and celebrating with the without champagne or rum. She's success with Global.Media.